Just Theodore Lucas, born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts, Cape Cod to be exact, located down to Atlanta in 2000, and then migrated to Tampa in December of last year. It was an idea. I was fortunate enough to see Miss Lamb in Atlanta. She came to our conference and brought some of the staff members, and she was talking about mentoring to a group of people. I was working security at the time, and she was blocking this the security door. So I was going to tell her to disperse, but what she was saying was impactful, saying how youth are about mentoring is important and how programs need to be more mindful of mentoring. And it was something that I thought Atlanta would love to have, because we don't really have too many mentoring programs. And as she finished, I got the chance to talk to her, and I always tell her, and I said, my mom used to tell me as a kid, you'll understand when you get older, when you have kids, when you get older. So about 15, 20 years down the line now, I'm understanding what she's talking about. And I always felt that mentoring is the same thing, it just bridges the gap closer. Instead of waiting 5 to 10 years down the line, I can just tell you within weeks or a month something that could help you be more impactful. And I was drawn to it, and she had indicated that they have a program here in Tampa that I should come down and take a look at it and see if I was interested. I came down later on in the year in December, and they had a graduation for a couple clients, and I got to see just how impactful the program was, and I was blown away. That was back in 2018, so I said, look, if ever you come to Atlanta, let me know. I'll drop whatever I'm doing, and I'll be on Tampa Bay Academy of Hope's team, because it was just so impactful for me. So I'm on 2 reentry programs, SOAR, which is Successful Outcomes After Release, and the new one starting up, which is Pathways. Both reentry, also dealing with returning citizens or people previously incarcerated. SOAR was anybody on probation or recently released from incarceration within 180 days. So it's the best of both worlds. The only difference with Pathways is they must start incarcerated, whereas SOAR, you could have been released. So we get more time in prison than we did before. What draws me the most is the lack of hope. I tell people our name is the Tampa Bay Academy of Hope, but hope is a very powerful tool. Sometimes people, when they're incarcerated, as they call being down, they just feel that they're going to always be in the system. And a lot of the clients that we talk to, or I'm doing these intake processes, are explaining that I'm a career criminal, is what they say, or I've been here down so long that's all I know. And I always believe that it's a lack of options. Financial resources is most of the reasons why individuals find themselves incarcerated. And the agency and along with others, are here to help give you options and at least hope that there are people out there that genuinely care about your well-being and will look past your transgressions to see if you can be a better person. I tell people the beauty about my job is everybody has a record, so I don't have to worry about telling you don't apply for this job, because you have to qualify. Or to qualify for my program, you must have a record or be incarcerated. So 95% of our people qualify for our programming. So it's just great to be able to have somebody that is needed. So they have a pipeline in a sense. What drives me, I would say, is the success stories. I tell people the job is tough because we get emotionally connected to our clients. So if they're having a bad day, I have a bad day. If they slip in programming, or when the pandemic happened, we had to shut down the offices and we weren't able to go into the prisons because they were shut down. So we lose that connection with clients. So I think that's what it drives me the most, to make sure I get up and go, because they're looking for us, more or less. There was a client that he did 37 years incarcerated, and recently got his CDL license, and is about to go to work this Monday. 37 years incarcerated. Within a few weeks in programming, he's out now and about to have his first job in a long time, and in the career field that he's chosen through us. So it's just very rewarding that we can be that catalyst to say, hey, look, if it just takes some time, positivity, and encouragement, but you can be what you really want to be if you trust us to take you on that journey. The biggest challenge that I feel that I face, and that sometimes the agency faces, is we want it bad enough for everybody, but not everybody wants it for themselves. We're not the only reentry program out there. A lot of people come to the prison and say, hey, this is what we can do, this is what we will do. So a lot of people have gotten in there before us and have put a salty taste in some of the clients' mouths. And so when I say, look, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure you're successful. That's what we mean. You know, the agency stands behind that. They send me in there for a reason. I tell them I'll come every week if I have to, just to prove that I'm willing to come and that we are different than the other agencies out there that are just talking. We put our actions behind it and being able to deliver. So a lot of programs out there, the St. Peter's Claver is out there, the Talbot Ministries is out there, A. Brown Ministries is out there. I really want the Tampa Bay Academy of Hope to be just like a #1 in reentry. That when people get out, hey, if you need help, go to Tampa Bay Academy of Hope. They help everybody. You know, I want to be that one-stop shop because we do a lot of things. So the one-stop for reentry, or even with the youth build side for our young adults, we want to be the #1 training facility, vocational facility in Central Florida. And then ultimately, as we're expanding into our other territories in Atlanta, hopefully, and then as we get out the Polk County and Pinellas area, we just want to be that #1 source for reentry. And the better we do at that, other people will join up with us to make this really impactful for reentry and young adults altogether. I'm fortunate to be here. Not everyone has the same story of why they get up every day, or why they do reentry, or why they do the young adults. But I have a typical, I hate to say typical, but a very similar African-American story, a single parent home. You know, I tell people we weren't poor, but, you know, if I took some money from my mom, she wouldn't even notice it, you know? So I had 5 brothers, she was working hard. So I really want to change that stigma that, you know, you can be successful. It takes a lot of work, unfortunately, when you're going into a single parent home, but we can be successful in changing that narrative just for minorities in general and everybody. I really want people to understand that, you know, we do take care of minorities, but we take care of everybody. I don't want, you know, there be a Caucasian male who needs help and doesn't come here because he thinks that the academy is only for African Americans or minorities. I want everyone to know that we can help anybody and everybody because we want to be a community center, not just a reentry. People with backgrounds can do work, or young adults that were maybe expelled from school or have a GED are just as capable as the ones that are graduated have gone on to college. They just need a willing person to listen to them and teach them what they need to be successful. I want them to know that we are here, we're different than we were, and we're ever evolving to make sure just in case the pandemic does rise up again, we're in place, we have that technology base, or have that impact that even though we may not be able to be in the office, we can still meet you where you are, either for meeting in the parking lot of your house or driveway. We will come to you. There's no excuses why you can't be successful because we're going to be pushing you to better yourself as we better ourselves.